Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. And thank you very much for joining us this evening. I'm Jeff Hutchison from ABC Radio, and it is my great pleasure to be your host this evening in this magnificent Government House ballroom. I have to say this is one of my favourite events of the year because it is a reminder of all the good that exists in our lives. Kindness, courage, generosity, sacrifice, all weaved into the rich cultural heritage of our country. And one of the great things about Australia and Australians is that we always come together over the shared pride we feel and the spirit and mateship that defines us as a nation. The Australian of the Year Awards commits to showcasing extraordinary members of our community. The nominees they're people who roll up their sleeves, they start movements, they create conversations, and they lend a helping hand. The awards are not a role or a responsibility. They are recognition of those whose day-to-day efforts are making a real difference to the lives of others. Whether you're here tonight with us in the room or watching online on ABC iView or at australianoftheyear.org.au, welcome. You are in for a wonderful evening and a celebration of some incredible Australians, and we do encourage you to show your support on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram using the hashtag #OzOfTheYear. His Excellency, the Governor, the Honourable Chris Dawson, APM, Governor of Western Australia, and Mrs Darrelyn Dawson, the Honourable Simone McGurk, MLA, Minister for Child Protection, Women's Interests, Prevention of Family and Domestic Violence and Community Services, representing the Premier, the Honourable Patrick Gorman, MP, Assistant Minister to the Prime Minister, Bradley Woods, Chairman, Aspire, the Australia Day Council of WA, the Honourable Dr Ken Michael, AC, former Governor of WA, Shane Love, MLA, representing the Leader of the Opposition, Basil Zemplis, the Right Honourable Lord Mayor of the City of Perth, the Honourable Dr Anne Alley, MP, Minister for Early Childhood Education and Minister for Youth, Morgan Lewis, CEO of Aspire, the Australia Day Council of WA, Dr Robert Isaacs, AM, Board Member of the National Australia Day Council, Carly Brand, CEO, National Australia Day Council, Peter McNally, Managing Counsel, Chevron Australia, Barry Winmar, Aspire Board Members, WA Australian of the Year 2023 finalists, Australian of the Year alumni, sponsor representatives, and ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome. And I now invite Barry Winmar, respected Whadjuk Noongar leader and Aspire board member, to welcome us to country.
Maman jenagina kopen ye, kopen nala boje ye. Nala nunga boja ye. Mamen jenagina kopen ye. Kopen nala boja ye. Ngala nunga boja ye. I pay respects to my elders past and present, and to my elders that are here with us tonight in this room. I say, Wanju Kaya, Wanju Maman, Wanju Yok. Nijit nunga boja, Wenji nunak yining. In Yakalamaya wajok mort. Boja burlu, double yerrigan, karakumba. Ngalamort yiriyak and jena curling, kurben. Kalamaya yining curling, Bulamort doinch doinch kura jerup. Kalamai balap mort kura, balap wern jenining yeragenda. Ngan jerup wang and nunuk, wajala mort, nunga mort. Nunuk ma karich, yening doinch doinch jena curling. Ngan mort bolu nunga mort, mortich boja. I acknowledge that tonight we stand on my ancestral land. This is Noongar Boodja. This is the land of the Murri people. I am a descendant of Yalagonga, the great Noongar leader. This is my grandmother's country. I stand here tonight as a member of the oldest continuous living culture connected to this land for some 65,000 years. I am a holder of culture and law with the authority to share traditional customs, knowledge, and stories, as Noongar leaders have done for more than 3,000 generations. A welcome to country is a sign of mutual respect. We do not take it for granted. And I'd like to acknowledge Australia Day Council for including a welcome to country as part of today's significant event and proceedings. I began with ceremony with a spirit song on the didgeridoo, to alert the spirits there are visitors here tonight. I also sang to the spirits to get them to rise, to come with us here tonight, to stand with us and watch over us, and to keep us safe while you are on Noongar Boodja. I also ask the good spirits to continue to keep you safe as you travel home safely to your families and your loved ones. Ngalak yening kura and kura ngalak noich neja Noongar Boodja. Noongar mor jerp and yening naja kwabalok Noongar Boodja kuralong. From the beginning of time to the end, this is Noongar country. Noongar people have been graceful keepers of our nation many, many years. Ngala jerp and mamba Boodja ngala mala mamba kwap ngala kort jerpen. Dinya ngala mai mai yening Noongar Boodja. We respect the earth, our mother, and understand we belong to her. She does not belong to us. In all her beauty, we find comfort, well-being, and life that creates a home for everyone that is now a keeper of Noongar country. Jinjin karajing jerpen nija wern Noongar Boodja ngala maya maya border. Look, listen, understand, and embrace all the elements of Noongar country that is forever our home. With the authority of my elders and the respect of Noongar people and the Whadjuk nation, I say to you, Kaya Wanju, Ngan Kurt Jerpen, Nija Noongar Boodja, Dajali Wangin Noongar Boodja, Wanju, Wanju. Hello and welcome. My heart is happy as we meet here on Noongar country. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you very much, Barry. Our heart is happy too. I now invite you, ladies and gentlemen, to be upstanding as Sherry and Chris Murphy perform the national anthem.
Australians, all let us rejoice, for we are one and free. We this page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains then let us sing, advance Australia fair.
That was absolutely beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, for more than 60 years, unknown volunteers or pioneering advocates or humble neighbours next door have been nominated for the Australian of the Year award. The awards are community-led, they're for the people, they're nominated by the people, and they're chosen by a diverse selection panel of representatives from across Western Australia. Anyone can nominate someone who inspires them, and the online nominations process is open to the public 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The nominees you meet this evening demonstrate courage, resilience and selflessness, and in times when Australians are facing significant hardships, these are the people who are tireless in their advocacy and demonstrate what it means to be a great Australian. Our nominees come from all walks of life and have their own stories about what motivates them. Their stories are inspiring, they are moving, they allow us to reflect and to respect and to celebrate our collective human experiences of joy and grief and hope and triumph, because we are all part of this nation's story. Now, if you are new to the awards, there are 4 categories: Australia's Local Hero, Young Australian of the Year, Senior Australian of the Year, and the Australian of the Year. And we have received thousands of nominations this year, from those going above and beyond. And from those nominations tonight, we celebrate 16 incredible people, recognising their outstanding achievements, the people who represent the best of us, and that is no small feat. One recipient will be announced in each of the 4 categories, and those 4 will then go on to join every state and territory recipient at the National Awards on the eve of Australia Day, announced by the Prime Minister and broadcast live on ABC TV and ABC iView. Whatever the outcome this evening, our nominees richly deserve to be here. We congratulate you for your dedication, your perseverance, and your extraordinary contribution to our country. Let's give them all a round of applause. And as we look forward to recognising 16 outstanding individuals this evening, some of whom we might meet for the first time, let us also reflect and thank 4 incredible West Australians who were recognised at this ceremony last year. The 2022 Local Hero, Craig Hollywood. The 2022 Young Australian of the Year, Kendall White. The 2022 Senior Australian of the Year, Janice Standen. Glittering she is tonight, ladies and gentlemen. And the 2022 Australian of the Year, Paul Litherland. Please join me in thanking them for their ongoing leadership. I promise you this evening will make your heart swell. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my honour to invite His Excellency the Honourable Chris Dawson, APM, Governor of Western Australia and patron of Auspire, to speak to us.
Thank you, Jeff. I'll firstly acknowledge the Whadjuk people of the Noongar Nation, pay my respects to their elders, past, present and emerging, and of course all Aboriginal people that are both here at the Government House Ballroom this evening or those that are watching on television. It's great to be here. Look, I won't go through that extensive list of distinguished people and all outstanding Australians that are here with us this evening, but a very warm welcome to you all. I extend my thanks also to Barry Winmar for his wonderful welcome to country, and of course to Sherry and Chris Murphy for that wonderful rendition of our national anthem. Look, as Governor, and Darren and my wife and I, it's great to welcome you here to the Government House Ballroom, and as patron of Aspire, the Australia Day Council of WA, it's really a great privilege and honour to be here with you, and of course we're going to learn more about these deserved nominees, and shortly I'll have again the privilege of announcing the recipients of the 2023 WA Australian of the Year Awards. As we've seen on the video and as Jeff has already introduced, this has been going for some 60 years, and we've been acknowledging and celebrating inspirational Australians. And this is really about ordinary people who do extraordinary things through their work, through their community, through their beliefs and values, and importantly through their actions. As Jeff has said, they roll their sleeves up and they get on with it. And each of tonight's 16 nominees in their own fields won their finalists and their winners in their own respects, and they've made it to this point not because they've planned to, but because they deserve. And they're not really thinking about awards at all, I'm sure, when they take that first step, when they make that first decision to act on something that triggered some belief or some urge to do something. They're not thinking about accolades. When they push that extra mile, yard, or if we want to go metric, whatever they're pushing, it's something more than normal. Whether it's in their profession or in their neighbourhood or both, something that changes the lives of others around them and those, of course, in our country, and indeed goes around the globe. They're not thinking about recognition, but they are extending a helping hand to fellow Australians, some of whom need that helping hand, others that require someone to actually stand and fight for them or speak for them at times for those that don't have a voice. The people who are honoured and part of these prestigious awards, they're selfless. They're not thinking about themselves, but the outstanding contribution that they are making is what, of course, we're celebrating and highlighting tonight. That's what makes them so very special. So soon we'll be learning the names of the 2023 awardees, but I just want to take a little moment to pay tribute to those who will be handing over the baton. The four of them just stood up here, but they're our 2022 WA recipients. So to Paul Litherland, Janice Standen, Kendall White and Craig Hollywood, can I once again reinforce the thanks on behalf of Western Australia for your outstanding contributions and the legacies that you've already made. Can we once again please acknowledge them? Each of you have challenged us to open our eyes, and you've done that through your example, to look at what's going on around us and take that extra effort to care for others. A little earlier this evening, I had the great privilege of meeting the finalists, and every single one of them, of course, is deserving of our gratitude and respect. They've all worked tirelessly as individuals, and I know there's family and friends here that will share this celebration, but they've come from a wide background of chosen fields, and they are being recognised for their contribution, whether it be through research, through health, well-being, community advocacy and support, Indigenous affairs, arts, culture, volunteering, sport, youth, and I could extensively add to that. But shortly you'll hear a bit more about their personal stories and the paths that they've taken to be with us here as finalists. So when you do, I also want you to think about the many more West Australians that have been nominated over the past year, and as was said earlier in the opening remarks by others, there have been many people nominated who have given them of themselves for the betterment of our community, and we thank you for that spirit of service you offer us all. So the selection committee have had a great challenge in narrowing down a large field of remarkable nominees to the last 16. And I'd like to thank the selection panel for undertaking this unenviable task with great proficiency and great commitment, and thank you to that body of work. Also thank you to Aspire, the actual Australia Day Council of WA, and the National Australia Day Council for the management and organisation. These evenings and this event doesn't come by accident. It's a prestigious event, but one that I know you give of yourselves both at a state and a national level. I thank you for that and providing platforms on which we can celebrate as we are this evening. So with that, please also keep in mind we'll be repeating this, of course, next year, and you can already perhaps even now think of people who are worthy already and that you may want to consider nominating for next year's awards. The 4 WA award recipients to be announced shortly will go, of course, on to Canberra in representing Western Australia in the National Australian of the Year Awards to be announced in January next year. All of WA will be, of course, behind you. We look forward to continuing to share your stories. We wish you every success in the journey ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. I'd like to invite Bradley Woods, the Chairman of Aspire, to share some words. Please give Bradley a warm welcome.
Thank you very much, Jeff. And what a wonderful version of the National Anthem we heard by Chris and Sherry, as the Governor mentioned. I'd like to begin by thanking our patron, His Excellency the Governor, Chris Dawson, APM Governor of Western Australia, and Mrs Dawson for having us in their backyard, in their home, in their ballroom. It's wonderful to be here again after a couple of years where we were relocated, but it's wonderful to be back at Government House, and thank you very much for your hospitality. In particular, Governor, we're thankful and grateful of you taking up the patronage of Aspire and the Australia Day Council Western Australia to enable us to continue to highlight the work and the contribution of many West Australians, and we look forward to sharing those opportunities and that work with you as we progress. To our Vice Patron, the Premier of Western Australia, who is this evening represented by the Honourable Simone McGuirk. Welcome, Minister. Thank you, Barry, for your welcome to country, and I too respectfully acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we're gathered, the Whadjuk Noongar people, and I acknowledge and respect their continuing culture, the contribution they make to the life of this city and the region. Well, I'm delighted on behalf of Aspire, the Australia Day Council of Western Australia, to welcome you this evening to the 2023 Australian of the Year Awards. And it's a real honour to see in the audience this evening many of our alumni, former recipients of everything from the Australian of the Year Award through to the many different categories at state and national level. In particular, recognising our 4 winners from last year. It's wonderful to have you back, and you have been acknowledged this evening as is appropriate, but we know that you've formed a very tight and wonderful bond this year, and you've represented us well, so thank you very much. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're truly this evening going to see some outstanding West Australians, people who've made a remarkable contribution to our society, to our state and to our country already. And we can be tremendously proud to see how their work has helped shape our community and the society in which we live. We also need to acknowledge some sponsors, and this is the paid advertorial part, ladies and gentlemen. As any not-for-profit organisation knows, it's the work of and the contribution of our sponsors that ensure that we can do the work that we are charged to do. And for their support of Aspire this evening and the awards tonight, it is very much appreciated. And we're delighted to welcome many of the representatives for the National Awards and to Aspire here this evening. And a slight plug on the side to Miles from Nowhere Wines. Thank you to Frank and Heather Tate for sponsoring Miles from Nowhere this evening and the wines we enjoyed and the sparkling before the presentation this evening. I also acknowledge our network partners at the National Australia Day Council for their ongoing support and thank the Chair, both Ms Danny Roach and the CEO, Ms Carly Brand, for their support of the Western Australian chapter. To their board member, Robert Isaacs from Western Australia, and the others who have travelled across the country to be here this evening, thank you. Along with the Commonwealth Government's support and attendance tonight, we have Assistant Minister to the Prime Minister, Patrick Gorman. Patrick, thank you very much for joining us, and I'd especially like to recognise also the West Australian Government, represented here by Minister McGuirk, for supporting the work of Auspire and the way in which we help our finalists and our winners and many within our network tell the stories of their life and the work that they contribute. If you could please pass our thanks on to the Premier for that support. Well, recently the Australian of the Year sponsors and delegates came together and joined with West Australian community representatives to form the selection panel for tonight's awards. And I'd like to thank all that participated in the selection panel for your time and your wisdom and contribution to that process. As the Governor indicated, we have thousands of nominations and we have to whittle them down to 16 finalists, 4 in each category. And it's no easy feat. And by the end of the day, and I've been fortunate enough to participate in a number of these now, if someone was to ask me who the winner of a particular category was, it goes in and it goes out again, and I wait till tonight really to see who the winners are, because even as chair of the judging panel, it's such a huge process to see wonderful Australians, wonderful West Australians come before us, and to make a selection from that process is really difficult. And so each of the 4 finalists we see tonight are all equally winners in their own right, and we acknowledge and celebrate that. So tonight we will hear more about their contribution to community, to state, and the stories in which they will share with us about their work. Can I acknowledge our small but dedicated team of staff at Auspire, led by CEO Morgan Lewis, for bringing this program together in Western Australia. The work that you do is fantastic. It's a small outfit, but they deliver big results. Thank you, Morgan. To our team of volunteers and valued volunteers, I thank you for your generous support. Thank you to the Auspire board and for your time and energy and the contribution that you make to this organisation and what is resulting in the awards presentation this evening. Also proud to acknowledge here tonight that Auspire, the Australia Day Council of Western Australia, has declared publicly its support for the Commonwealth Government with its intent to implement the Uluru Statement of the Heart in full. In providing our support, Auspire is demonstrating its commitment to ensuring an equitable society for all Australians. We're privileged to have a unique opportunity through our year-round events and initiatives to support a national conversation in what will eventually be described as a transformative process in the history of Australia. And to Minister Patrick Gorman, thank you for the opportunity of working with yourself as well as the Federal Minister assisting the Prime Minister with responsibility for the Australia Day Council. We look forward to continuing that work and that journey with you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming this evening. Thank you for joining us and honouring and celebrating our finalists and our soon-to-be-announced WA 2023 Australian of the Year Award recipients. Congratulations to all of them and have a wonderful evening.
So the time has arrived, ladies and gentlemen. Our 2023 Australian of the Year Award for Western Australia, our first category, the Local Hero, which recognises Australians making a significant contribution in their local community. And at January's national event, we'll be celebrating 20 years of the Local Hero Award, which has been supported by the Department of Home Affairs since its inception. And to all our local heroes present tonight, or watching online, we want to say just a massive thank you. You are so important to our community and to Western Australia. Let's hear it for them, ladies and gentlemen. The nominees for Western Australia's 2023 Local Hero are
Noongar elder James Morrison has advocated for stolen generation survivors for more than 4 decades. He seeks acknowledgement, healing and redress for the children forcibly removed from their families, country and culture. James founded the organisation Yokai to help heal the spirits of the stolen generation. He also supports and mentors stolen generation survivors and family members. Social entrepreneur Jimmy Murphy co-founded the Town Team movement to help people connect to create stronger communities and regenerate neighbourhoods. There are now more than 108 town teams making the world better, one location at a time. Jimmy has also co-founded Arts Impact WA, a philanthropic organisation that funds Western Australian arts projects. Helen Shervington is the co-founder and long-term chair of the hugely successful Cinefest Oz Film Festival held in Busselton each year. The festival has grown from a small event in 2008, attended by 1,800 people, to welcoming over 26,000 attendees in 2022. Helen is a passionate supporter of her local community and was recognised with an Order of Australia Medal in 2012. Janine Wood is the co-founder and chair of No Limits Perth, a not-for-profit that supports vulnerable people in metropolitan Perth and its surrounds. The organisation provides food and essential items to people doing it tough, including those escaping domestic violence, those experiencing homelessness, vulnerable families, and older people. Its volunteers give care, respect, and hope to those seeking their help.
Aren't they amazing, ladies and gentlemen? We are so lucky to have people like that in our community. Can I ask the four nominees for 2023 to please stand? Thank you very much. And Your Excellency, will you please join me on stage to present the first of our awards to one of those inspiring individuals. We met our 2022 local hero, Craig Hollywood, a little earlier. Craig, lovely to have you up here as well. Your Excellency, will you please tell us who is Western Australia's 2023 local hero?
The 2023 local hero for Western Australia is Jimmy Murphy.
Jimmy, would you like to come over here? I wonder if we could begin with you telling me what you were doing with that no standing sign.
That was we were in South Hedland, up in Port Hedland, south of Port Hedland, South Hedland. We were doing a prototype placemaking festival, so working with the community there to regenerate their town centre. So we were building seating, and we put in trees, and we worked with the community to do murals and rework their town centre in South Hedland.
What put you on this path to want to drive such positive change?
Actually, it was a quote I saw probably about 6 or 7 years ago. It was on the back of my friend, or the front of my friend's fridge, and it was, darkness is not dispelled with darkness, only light can do that. Hate does not dispel hate, only love can do that. And I was a passionate activist and wanted to see change in my community back then, and seeing that quote really changed everything for me, because I went from negative activism to positive contribution. Yeah, so that was a big moment for me.
Well, I think we're going to hear that theme throughout the evening tonight. But also you believe in the power of the citizen to be part of the community and to actually be responsible for making change. A lot of people think they can't make that change. How do you convince people that they've got a role to play?
We start small, so placemaking is about encouraging just every mum and dad, everyday person to do great things in their community. It could be just painting the light pole out the front of your house, or doing a picnic in your local garden or your park. Could be doing a community garden, could be creating a street festival, putting on a market, anything that makes your local town or community better, and we're there to help people who want to do that in any capacity that they can.
How does it feel being our local hero, Jimmy?
A bit of a surprise, actually, and I actually thought Jim Morrison and Janine and Helen were amazing candidates, so I wasn't actually expecting this at all. But it feels wonderful. Yeah, it's great. Really passionate. I think, in today's world, there's so much unrest, and we've got climate change, we've got pandemics and wars, and I think, town teams and placemaking and coming back to local communities and being able to just focus in on what you can do as an everyday person to make your place better helps me get through day to day, and I think thousands of others West Australians think the same. So yeah. Good for you.
Congratulations, Jimmy. Ladies and gentlemen, our local hero is Jimmy Murphy. You always ask the question, how did you begin? And it's invariably, in the answer is a kind of, I just felt I had to do something. And that really characterises this experience. Now, onto the Young Australian of the Year category, which is supported by the Department of Education. And this award recognises inspiring young Australians aged between 16 and 30 who've accomplished great things already and are making a positive difference. The nominees for Western Australia's 2023 Young Australian of the Year are
Zahra Al-Hilali is a first-generation Australian from a Palestinian and Iraqi background, and a national and international advocate for gender equality and equitable representation. She is a university student, writer and poet, and says unity is essential to overcoming discrimination. Zahra has already contributed to policies which are improving engagement outcomes for young people from diverse backgrounds. Nagmeldon Bol, also known as Peter Bol, is a two-time Olympian. At the 2021 Tokyo Games, he was the first Australian in 53 years to reach the Olympic 800-metre final. As the fastest ever Australian over 800 metres, Nagmeldon is actively spreading the message of what one can achieve. When he's not training or studying, Nagmeldon works as a coach, mentor and speaker, helping others reach their dreams. Scott Guarini's legs have carried him many kilometres in the name of charity. Walking for telethons since he was 4, he's inspired countless children and adults to think about how they can contribute to helping others. Scott's Great Walk has passed 1,000 kilometres and raised more than $200,000 for sick children. His goal is to raise $1 million by the time he reaches 90. Madison de Rosario was just 14 when her relay team won silver at the 2008 Beijing Paralympics. She'd started wheelchair racing only 2 years before. Now, the 4-time Paralympian has 20 medals in her collection, 9 of them gold. In 2021, Madison was the first Australian woman to win a New York Marathon. She also took out top honour in the 2022 Australian Women in Sport Awards.
Gentlemen, it is so reassuring to know that the future of this place lies with so many fantastic young people. To our nominees, please, we'd like to see you and we'd like to give you a round of applause, please. Upstanding. I'd like to invite Western Australia's 2022 Young Australian of the Year, Kendall White. Lovely to have you here, Kendall. And now it's time to pass on the baton. Your Excellency, could you please tell us who is Western Australia's 2023 Young Australian of the Year?
The 2023 Young Australian of the Year for Western Australia is Peter Boll.
Pete, I wonder if you can find the words to describe what the last, 2 or 3 years have been like for you. I noticed just last month you won the Peter Norman Humanitarian Award, and I wonder if you might explain to us why it's so important for you to not just succeed, but to give back.
Thank you so much for the award, and I guess 3 words would be suits. I've been wearing a lot more suits. Seeing a lot more faces, and culture has been massive. We've always wanted to make an impact on the track, but now we're making it off the track, which has always been more about people than running, because running is always going to end, but in terms of people, we're always there. So yeah, it's been amazing and it's been unreal.
What do you think your role might be in the next 12 months? Is it a continuation of the same? You speak all the time of dealing with adversity, showing resilience. Will that be the kind of message that you carry in the next 12 months?
Absolutely, and more so about opportunity, because 10 years ago, a teacher gave me an opportunity to start track and field. 10 years on, I'm the fourth fastest in the world. So, and I see so many people in my community and different communities that if they had that single opportunity could potentially get to the same level. So, and just not in terms of running in sports, but across all fields. I got asked a great question the other day, and I was watching an NBL game, and I was like, diversity is like, it shouldn't just be the players, it should be across all different fields, the coaches, the staff. So sharing that message would be important for me.
Congratulations, you look pretty good in a suit.
Thank you.
There's something rather modest about an outstanding athlete who wants to thank his teacher for 10 years ago suggesting he might like to do some running. Category partner, the Department of Health and Aged Care, presents our next award, the Senior Australian of the Year. The award celebrates the ongoing achievements of our passionate and committed Australians aged 65 years and over, who inspire change and just won't take no for an answer. And I personally absolutely love this award because we need to and we must learn from our elders, and we must welcome them into our lives. It is their resilience and a positive attitude that really can impact the generations that follow. The nominees for West Australia's 2023 Senior Australian of the Year are
Vince Garefa has become one of Western Australia's best known and most successful butchers. He's also a major fundraiser, raising more than $1 million for a variety of charities and over $4 million for Lifeline WA. Vince also supports many smaller charities as chair of non-profit organisation Mondo Community Warriors. And through COVID-19, he provided care packages for elderly customers who were isolated and vulnerable. Teresa Kwok has been supporting older migrants from culturally and linguistically diverse communities over the past 3 decades, enabling them to truly call Australia their home. Recognised as Western Australia's 2021 Seniors Advocate of the Year, Teresa is reshaping how aged and community care services are delivered, including programs to ensure older people can continue to live independently. Community volunteer and former nurse Tony Russell packs more into a day than many do in a year. In the past 14 years, she's made more than 25,000 calls and 1,300 visits to elderly and vulnerable people as a volunteer with the Red Cross. She's also donated blood and plasma an extraordinary 650 times over the past 50 years. Paediatric physiotherapist Carol Stacey recognised a lack of opportunity and support structures for children with medical, physical and intellectual disabilities and their parents. Over 4 decades, she's created inclusive opportunities for children of all capabilities to participate, such as playgrounds and swimming squads. She's also facilitated interactions between families to share experiences, advice and equipment.
Please. I'd like to ask our 4 nominees this evening to stand so we may acclaim you. And I am particularly delighted to welcome our 2022 Senior Australian of the Year, the shimmying Jan Stand. I know Jan doesn't mind if I make a joke now and again, but what an absolute delight and inspiration you've been in that capacity, Jan. We thank you very much. Governor, would you please tell us who is Western Australia's 2023 Senior Australian of the Year?
The 2023 Senior Australian of the Year for Western Australia is Teresa Kwok.
Congratulations. Teresa, clearly there was a large section of our audience tonight who could not think of any more deserving winner. This has mattered to you for a very long time, and I wonder if you could just explain to our audience why.
Actually, I don't know why I'm here today. It never come to me that I will be here because I started off, why I'm doing what I am doing. It is from my migrant life, I come here, as a new migrant, and then I face a lot of difficulties, challenges, and barriers like a lot of the migrants. But to me, it is such a big thing until I start to work with Chung Hwa Association, helping seniors to see what it is they need and all that. And then I know that what I'm facing is just insignificant because facing me, it is all the old folks, They look at you, lack of confidence, and also very fear. Because these are the group of people, they come at the later part of their life. And they don't have the language, they don't have the culture. They just come, a lot of them, they have to reunion with their children. And so from there on, I was telling myself, this is where and what I'm going to do in my coming life here. So that's where I started off around 30 over years ago.
An extraordinary contribution to culturally and linguistically diverse communities, 35 years in the making, summed up in about a minute and a half. But those communities do face many challenges too, Teresa. And how do we ensure that we get to age in community as well as we can? Because it's going to be one of the great challenges for this country in coming years.
I think that it is not only one person's effort, and in fact, our team and our belief and our vision is to build a better community for all Australians. And that it is which is pushing us all along, daily task, And so that's why we believe actually it is not only helping individuals, it takes all of us to help more people. And so in so doing, we are just trying our best to build the skill and also the tools for the seniors from the CALD background. And so many times now we see them, they start to learn how to go around with public transport. And they can even order coffee and tea in McDonald's. And sometimes, for those they have been coming with us for all the tours, you will ask them and they will proudly tell you, our famous Irish engineer, C.Y. O'Connor, it is the one who it is going to the mastermind of the water supply from Perth or from Mandarin-Weir all the way to Kalgoorlie. And that it is what we are very proud at. So at the end of the day, we would like to see all of us building a better community for all. Please do not forget, they may have some people, don't leave them behind. They may need our special support and our embracing and included them into, because we are all here building a better home for everyone.
Thank you so much. It's beautiful. Thank you indeed. Teresa Kwok, ladies and gentlemen. It takes all of us to help more people, and what a sentiment that is. Our final category this evening is Western Australia's 2023 Australian of the Year Award, proudly supported by Australia Post, which is at the heart of Australian communities, connecting them with each other and the world. The Australian of the Year Award celebrates the achievements and contributions of eminent Australians who are role models for us all. Let us look at the amazing nominees in this year's Western Australian of the Year category.
Professor Samar Aoun advocates for a person-centred approach to end-of-life care and for community members to have more of a role in care and bereavement support. Samar's work has informed new practices that better support those caring, dying and grieving. She's also worked with underserved groups, such as those with motor neurone disease, dementia and terminally ill people who live alone. Rodney Bridge lost his 16-year-old son in 2013 to a synthetic form of LSD. Rodney took matters into his own hands, tracking down the drug's manufacturing company in China. His mission spurred a national ban on the manufacture of 116 synthetic drugs. He now works with Side Effect Australia, educating young people to make informed decisions about substance use. Dr. Sashveen Singh has helped treat many disadvantaged populations suffering infectious diseases, including in conflict hotspots. Sashveen has worked as a tropical infectious disease advisor for Doctors Without Borders, in the Democratic Republic of Congo, dealing with the Ebola crisis, in Niger dealing with malaria, as well as working on COVID-19 and measles outbreaks. Professor Andrew Whitehouse and his team have significantly advanced research into autism, fundamentally improving clinical practice and community perceptions about the condition. His research program was the first to prove that parent-led therapy applied early in life can significantly reduce disability experienced by children with autism. Andrew is also a dedicated community advocate for autism and a renowned science communicator.
Such diverse interests, but such incredible commitment to the task of making this a better place. Can I please ask the nominees to be upstanding? We would like to give you an acknowledgement of your extraordinary talents. Yes, Professor Andrew Whitehouse, you can stand up. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm particularly delighted to invite Western Australia's 2022 Australian of the Year, Paul Litherland, to be with us this evening to help present this year's award. So, Governor, the time has come. Could you please tell us who is Western Australia's 2023 Australian of the Year?
The 2023 Australian of the Year for Western Australia is Professor Samar Awun.
And Governor, I'd like to thank you so much for being with us this evening. It's a great pleasure to be here. Thank you very much. How does it feel being the West Australian Australian of the Year?
It is surreal. I just want to thank everybody and also all the nominees in my categories and other categories. You are amazing. That's why I'm feeling a bit, you know, the feeling when everybody else is worth it and then you get it. It's a bit, yeah, thank you very much. I'm so
Samar, what do you think this is an acknowledgement of? Because anyone that looks at your history or your biographies sees expertise and care and love in such a range of disciplines. You want us all to be healthier and happier and live in communities that reflect that. Where does your drive and inspiration come from?
This is really an award for palliative care, for compassionate communities, and for motor neuron disease. These are the causes that I've been advocating for ever since I came to Australia in 1992. It's been an amazing community to be part of. What drives me is that we can do better in palliative care. It's already a very, very important field, and we're doing really well on many fronts. But we need to have it accessible to everyone everywhere. And until the community is part of this and a partner, a serious partner in delivering this care, it's always going to be not an equitable way of providing the services. So my vision and hope is that every person, every family, and every community knows what to do when someone is looking after somebody who has got a terminal illness, is dying from a terminal illness, or grieving from it, because this is everyone's responsibility. It's not just the health services, and it's everyone's business to know what to do, how to help each other, to have better health care, better quality of life, and better quality of death eventually.
How important is it that we have those conversations that demystify what death is? Life and death are all part of the same deal, aren't they?
Exactly, and exactly this is what we started Compassionate Communities. It's grown all over the world, and of course we're doing our bit here in Australia. And part of it is that how do we get the community to be more death literate, more grief literate? How do you, there is not enough people to care for us when we know that in the next 25 years the number of people who are going to die are going to double. Should we have a palliative care service at every Australian suburb? It's not going to work. Think about the death that you'd like to have. You only die once, and make it good.
Ladies and gentlemen, our West Australian Australian of the Year, Samar Awun.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
It's so lovely to talk to you.
There really was no need for words beyond that. What a wonderful nominee we are sending to Canberra in January. Ladies and gentlemen, that's just marvellous, because it just spoke of a truth, didn't it? As I mentioned earlier, our four amazing recipients now become the nominees for the National Award announced in Canberra on the 25th of January. And I'm really pleased to welcome to the stage the Assistant Minister to the Prime Minister, the Honourable Patrick Gorman MP.
Thank you very much, Jeff. They say there are only two certainties in life, death and taxes. I guess I'm here to represent taxes. I will begin by acknowledging the Whadjuk people of the Noongar Nation, the traditional owners of the land on which we gather this evening, pay respect to elders past and present, and thank Barry Winmar for that beautiful welcome to country. I reaffirm our government's solemn promise to implement the Uluru Statement from the Heart in full, including a voice to Parliament. I will also acknowledge our distinguished guests, His Excellency the Honourable Chris Dawson, APM, Governor of Western Australia, and Mrs Darrell Dawson, my friend Simone McGurk, the Minister for Child Protection, Women's Interests, Prevention of Family and Domestic Violence, and Community Services, representing the Premier of Western Australia, my ministerial colleague, the Honourable Dr Anne Ali, Minister for Early Childhood Education and Youth, Basil Zemplis, Lord Mayor of the City of Perth, members of Parliament, one and all, the wonderful team at the National Australia Day Council, represented by Carly Brand, Bradley Woods and his board, including Linda O'Sharlam, and everyone else that Jeff so brilliantly acknowledged. In the last couple of weeks, I've had the absolute privilege of going to these events across Australia. And as a West Australian, I'm so excited to be here celebrating not just great Australians, but some of us might argue the greatest Australians when it comes to Western Australians. What we've reminded ourselves of tonight is that over the years, Western Australia hasn't just given billions of dollars in GST, we have also given excellent nominees for Australian of the Year. People like Fiona Stanley, Dr Fiona Wood, Professor Helen Milroy, Professors Barry Marshall, Robin Warren. We've done our share out here in the West, and tonight only confirms that once again. Some really universal lessons that I think every one of us can walk away with tonight. Sometimes you can come to these events and feel like maybe you're not contributing enough, but actually you can walk away thinking you can contribute so much more. I look at the advice from Jimmy Murphy: start small, focus on what you can do. What Peter Bowl just said about opening those doors of opportunity and recognising and celebrating those who open those doors for you. Teresa Kwok telling us, don't leave anyone behind. Great advice. And Professor Simon Aun, it's everyone's business. Reminding us again, it is everyone's business, the work that we do. And when we boil all of that down, what is it? It's the Australian of the Year embodies the hopes of this nation, the hopes of everyone in this room. This idea that the future can be brighter than the past, that adversity can become triumph, that life-changing breakthroughs are possible. And so while we celebrate individuals tonight, we remind ourselves that big breakthrough change is always possible. And in doing so, as we do these things, we bring our nation that little bit closer together. It's an important job for our Australians of the Year. Bringing people together is an important job for everyone in this room. Congratulations once again to all of tonight's winners, and the Prime Minister and I look forward to seeing you in Canberra on the 25th of January.
Thank you very much, Minister Gorman. Let's all join together, ladies and gentlemen, one last time to show our appreciation and put our hands together to make some noise for our West Australian recipients: the 2023 Local Hero, James Murphy; the 2023 Young Australian of the Year, Peter Bowl; the 2023 Senior Australian of the Year, Teresa Kwok; and the 2023 Australian of the Year, Samar Aun. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause.
ingenuity,
creativity, and innovation.
passion,
Purpose and the pursuit of excellence.
inclusion.
And the idea of a fair go.
At Chevron, we believe in human energy.
That's why we support the Australian of the Year Awards.
As the National Diversity and Inclusion Partner, celebrating the achievement
Of outstanding Aussies. And from every walk of life.
Because we're all part of the story.
For over 200 years, Australia Post has been at the heart of Australian communities, connecting them to each other and the world. We're thrilled to recognise the incredible Australian of the Year award recipients who make such a profound contribution to their communities and to our nation. We're proud to support the Australian of the Year award and join you in celebrating these inspiring Australians.
Senior Australian of the Year Award recognises and celebrates the incredible achievements of older Australians around the country. As the Minister for Aged Care, I want to congratulate all of you on being nominated. Ageing well means staying healthy and connecting with community. Improving the lives of others shows your continued passion and commitment to living well. I wish you all the best in the finals, but importantly, I want to acknowledge that every one of you should be proud of your continued achievements. You are an inspiration to all of us, and your legacies will benefit the nation for generations to come.
As the Minister for Youth, I'm thrilled to congratulate the 2023 State and Territory Young Australian of the Year finalists. Your perspectives as young Australians on major issues and decisions our country faces are unique. It's invaluable to engage with young people and to hear your innovative ideas. You've each been recognised for the significant contributions and unwavering dedication you have given to your communities, having a real impact on people's lives. These outstanding and inspirational achievements should be celebrated and commended.
Australia's Local Hero Award is a celebration and acknowledgement of those in our communities who reach out a hand to help others. Their selfless actions have a life-changing impact on those around them. Thank you to each of the finalists for being outstanding role models for all of us. Congratulations.
Post in the Departments of Health and Aged Care, Education and Home Affairs. We'd like to thank our broadcast partner, the ABC and ABC iView, who connect us with communities all around Australia on television, radio and online. Thank you to media partner Australian Community Media, who supports our call for nominations nationwide through their leading rural and regional news brands. Thanks to alumni partner, the International Day of People with Disability, which is marked on the 3rd of December each year. We thank the official hotel partner, the Crown Plaza Canberra. We appreciate your warm hospitality for our recipients. Don't I love reading out ads? A very rare opportunity for me to do it. We would like to thank our cultural partner, the Australian National University, who support us through its School of Art for the trophies and the School of Music for our announcement anthem and those events in January. Our thanks go to our exhibition partner, the National Museum of Australia, who deliver the Australian of the Year exhibition around the country and throughout the year. And last but certainly not least of national sponsors, we appreciate the continued support of legal partner Minter Ellison. It would be remiss of me not to mention the West Australian Government's valued financial support of this important program and to acknowledge Aspire, Australia Day Council WA, as the organisation responsible for tonight's celebration and really for delivering this award program in Western Australia so superbly. Please, a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. And now I would like to invite our 4 recipients to the stage with the Governor for some official photos. We'd like to congratulate everyone involved, and don't forget to think who you would like to nominate, who might inspire you. Go to australianoftheyear.org.au. On behalf of us all, I wish our nominees every success in the future, and to our recipients, we wish you all the best on the next stage of the program. This brings us to the end of the formal proceedings, and I'd like to thank His Excellency, the Honourable Chris Dawson, APM, the Governor of Western Australia, and Mrs Darrelyn Dawson for allowing us the use of their place. The Governor and Mrs Dawson will be departing after photographs, so thank you very much indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to tune in for the National Awards on January the 25th, the evening before Australia Day, and just like tonight, it will be beautiful and it will inspire. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Please join with us in the supper room to celebrate, and we hope you have a very good evening. Thank you very much indeed.